Hello and welcome back to my Daggerfall Analysis series. If you're new here, you can check out parts 1 and 2 by clicking on the card in the top right. In this part, we're going to be taking a deeper look into the factions, guilds and the non-story related quests that Daggerfall has to offer. And let me tell you, there are a ton of them. In part 4, we'll be looking at the main quests and the story of the game, so those quests won't be covered in this one. With that said, let's get into it. Like any Elder Scrolls you may be familiar with, quests are a big part of Daggerfall, and outside of dungeon crawling, I would say they are the biggest part. And seeing as a large amount of the quests lead to a dungeon, you could argue that they are one and the same, but stop right there, that is actually a misconception made by some people. Just like in Arena, many of the quests don't require leaving town whatsoever, instead offering a respite from the action and some solace for the weaker character builds. These quests are varied in form, content and complexity and can be sorted into several different types of objectives and styles of adventure they will take you on. Besides the major storyline quests, all quests in Daggerfall, except a very select few, use random generation to vary where the player may have to go, who they may have to find, or what they may be looking for. A modern example of these would be the endgame Radiant quests in Skyrim. Although Daggerfall offers a far larger pool of these quests to choose from, and with more varied objectives than the offering from that game. In total, without any quest mods installed, vanilla Daggerfall comes with 227 distinct quests, a pretty hefty number, even when compared to a modern Elder Scrolls game. They are available from several sources and differ wildly in tone, style and time required to complete them. The main sources of these quests will be from the various guilds and factions in the game. In general, the objectives of the quests will reflect the interest and goals of the quest giver. The overall loop is the same as pretty much any RPG ever, but in Daggerfall there are a few more fail states than you may be used to. The majority go like this: find an NPC with a quest, accept said quest, travel to the required location, complete the objective, and then return to the NPC for your award. You can fail at almost every stage of this. Perhaps you waited too long or traveled too slowly, and now the quest has run out of time, making the travelling worthless and costly. Perhaps the objective is too well defended, or, if you're seriously unlucky, placed in an area you are simply too low level to access. The quest timer may even run out on your way back to the original quest giver. Now that one really hurts. Some quests even have faction disputes built into them. Perhaps you have been tasked with protecting and escorting an NPC on behalf of the Fighters Guild, but during your mission, some alleged members of the Bank of Daggerfall stop you with a warrant, offering you gold to give the NPC to them. Accept their offer and you will have earned more gold, but will have sacrificed your reputation within the guild, even risking being excommunicated altogether. If you decline the thug's offer, however, they will attack, and with greater numbers, possibly killing a weaker character build. Essentially, while quests may be simple on the surface, it's these little stories and flavour thrown into the gameplay that helps to keep them diverse, especially if you're already in that imaginative headspace needed to build upon in this D&D inspired lifesim. Some quests can even be completed in multiple ways, given more choice and role-playing options than you may expect for such a retro title. Whenever the player engages in a quest for any faction, reputation with that faction is impacted. What is less obvious is the impact various quests may have on reputation with other factions. Quests accepted from upper class nobles, for example, often involve illegal smuggling, which adversely affects the player's reputation with the Thieves Guild, who want all illegal activities to go directly through them. This means the player has to be careful with accepting certain jobs, so as not to step on the toes of a guild they may already be a part of. Often, quests will require you to find the location of a particular person. Oh, and by the way, now would be a good time to mention that there is, of course, no quest markers in Daggerfall. Morrowind fans can rejoice. All quests are logged in your quest log scroll, aka your journal. Ironically though, you won't have any obscure directions asking you to turn right after the third rock. You see, instead, the instructions you are given are far more literal. Go to this town and find this person. Okay, First thing, let's travel to that town. Well, it looks like hundreds of people live here. How am I going to find this one person? By asking the locals, of course. And yep, you've guessed it, not everyone will know who they are. I mean, that makes sense, right? This is one of those life sim elements of Daggerfall popping up once again. Not everyone can help you, so ask around. Eventually someone will know the guy you're looking for. Most will give you a vague direction of where that house is, but if you press them enough, and by that I mean repeatedly yell the question at their face, then they may eventually mark the house on your map, making your life a little bit easier. Just don't think about how terrified that NPC must be of you now. Before I go into the guild system, I may as well explain each type of quest you can find in Daggerfall, and contrary to some beliefs I've seen spouted online, there are more quest types than many think. I've seen some say most quests are just fetch quests, but they are more nuanced than just that. There are rescue quests that require the player to find and save an innocent NPC. These are usually given by noble or merchant characters. The story goes that a faction in the game has taken a hostage, and you, being a valiant adventurer, are just the person needed to go and save them. These quests involve gathering information, tracking down leads, and then venturing forth to the final confrontation. You gather the information by asking around town. It's here that speccing into streetwise or other such dialogue based skills will become handy. At the confrontation stage, the player is usually offered a choice: ransom or fight. Opponents at this stage are usually humans and are generally about the same level as the character. Think barbarians, knights, archers, etc. This type of quest poses a hidden danger though. Success often means a drop in reputation with the faction that had taken the hostage, normally the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood. A character that belongs to either of these guilds can lose enough reputation that they may even be expelled from them. An expulsion from either one of these is permanent. Then there's the arena style of quest, where the hero of Daggerfall becomes a postman. Hey, I didn't say every quest was revolutionary. These delivery quests are often given by nobles and the Thieves Guild. The player has to take item A to person B and then collect a reward. Sometimes this is spiced up by having the player go get the item themselves, or having enemies trying to intercept the delivery and kill you. Most of these quests can be considered as smuggling operations, hence the Thieves Guild's interest. If you're lucky, trouble can be avoided by moving quickly. The enemies spawn slowly and can often be outrun. If the quest does come from the Thieves Guild itself, you should avoid city guards as they may intercept you, causing you to lose reputation with the guild. As mentioned earlier, doing these types of quests for anyone but the Thieves Guild also lowers your reputation with that faction in most cases. Some quests require you to find a specific item. Okay, you got me. Yes, these ones are literally fetch quests. Most of the time this means going to a certain dungeon and opening every door looking for that select item, ingredient, piece of armor, or whatever else the random generation came up with. The only frustrating part of this particular quest style is that you can't cheat it like in Morrowind. If someone wanted a pair of trousers in Morrowind for example, you could acquire them however you wanted, by looting enemies or simply buying them from a tailor. In Daggerfall, you have to get the exact one in that dungeon. No other item of the same kind counts sadly. Assassination quests are just that. Find a person and kill them. The location will vary depending on which faction gave the quest. The Fighters Guild will be more about finding a particular bandit leader or an evil wizard and then go into a dungeon and killing them there, whereas the Dark Brotherhood will instead have the player finding a poor soul's house in town and striking them down in front of their families. Thief quests are self-explanatory and mainly given by the guild of the same name. Go to the location in town, sneak around and steal the item, then make your way back to the contact while avoiding any guards. Some quests require you to bloody up an individual to send a message. Maybe they've been bad-mouthing your guild, or simply haven't been donating to the weekly temple rally. Whatever it may be, it's your job to find them and give them a good beatdown. This quest is harder than it sounds, as it can be unfortunately a little too easy to overdo it and accidentally murder that person, meaning higher level characters may have to switch to their bare fists in hope that they don't go a little bit overboard. Finally, there are protection quests. These involve guarding an area for a certain amount of time, whether it be standing in as a bouncer at the end of the night, or waiting to ambush an attack on your local mages guild that the leader received a tip about. That mostly covers the majority of the random quests, or at least the ones I have played in my hundreds of hours. But it's important to remember that each guild packages them up differently, adding again to that ambience I mentioned in the last episode. Sure, a fetch quest is a fetch quest, but finding an ingredient for a special potion that may save a woman's life is different from recovering a lost family heirloom, at least from a roleplay standpoint, even if they are the same gameplay wise. One point to remember is that generally, quests that involve dungeon crawling are easily the longest but provide the greatest opportunity for rewards and skill advancement. The Thieves Guild, for example, has no mission that takes place outside of town. Great for the underpowered build, but not so great when you consider that you won't be advancing your combat skills. But hey, maybe you don't want to use combat whatsoever. At least from a roleplay standpoint, Daggerfall supports that with its town-based quest options. The main negative of these random quests, and it's quite a big one, is that while they are packaged differently, there is a lack of personality or life given to them. Past 1 or 2 paragraphs you get upon taking the quest, there isn't any dialogue or world building around them. It's a product of its time, if you will. To get 200 plus quests with the depth of a later Elder Scrolls game in a world as large as this would simply just be too much to ask for 1996. To counteract this in some places, the gaps have been filled extensively with the letter system, but this can be relied upon a bit too heavily. You will find that you are regularly snuck letters onto your person that contains an information dump regarding your current quest. And while this is cool at first, it does wear thin after your 100th quest. And not to mention the fact that our character is completely oblivious to the thousands of street urchins just sneaking letters onto us all the time. One advantage that the Unity version offers when it comes to accepting these quests from guilds is that you are given the ability to choose your desired task from a list. This way you can pick your favourite, or do each one in order to experience every available option. In the vanilla game, they were offered to the player at random, leading to the possibility to never play a certain type of quest if you were unlucky, or even be given the same quest over and over and over. Right, at this point, quests doesn't even sound like a word anymore, so let's get onto the guilds that offer them. There are over 20 different joinable guilds in Daggerfall, including fan favourites such as the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild, Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood. But we also have knightly orders and temples as joinable factions, with a temple for each of the 8 divines. Yes, I said 8 divines. No, the Thalmor haven't got the Daggerfall, don't worry. But without the soul of the Underking, the guy on the box art, Tiber Septim's soul wasn't quite able to take his mantle and become Talos, hence why he only crops up after the events of this game's main story. More on the main quest and all that lore in episode 4, so stay tuned. Guilds function similarly to the later games in the series, where the player joins at the lowest rank possible and slowly moves themselves up, earning more gravitas in the guild, with various rewards opening up once you advance further within the organisation. The system more closely resembles what fans may be used to in Morrowind than in Oblivion and Skyrim, however. Not only is your position decided by the quests that you complete, but also by your skills. You may complete tons of quests for the Fighters Guild, for example, but if you are a low level in any of the specific skills that they require, then you will never be offered the ability to advance. Unlike in Morrowind, Daggerfall unfortunately decided to put this information in the manual, leading to a lot of players not realizing this. You can find out all about the specific requirements for your chosen guild using the UESP. Outside of skill requirements, your guild rank is also determined by your reputation. This goes up by completing quests and goes down by failing them. It can also go down over time by simply ignoring the guild for too long, or for a variety of the reasons discussed previously in regards to the quest-related faction affinities. Advancing in rank within a guild offers a variety of advantages and services you cannot get outside of them. These include, but are not limited to, level trainers, Daedric summoning, information services, special vendors for potions, spells, gear and soul gems, crafting services for potion making, spell making and enchantments, identification services to find out what your enchanted items do, free high level gear, free accommodation and free travel. Not every guild offers all of these, however. You won't be finding a spellcrafter in a knightly order, for instance, so it's not uncommon to join multiple guilds to gain access to as much content as possible. That's the overview out of the way. Now for the nitty gritty of each guild type. Starting with the most generic but everyone's favourite rat extermination faction, the Fighters Guild. The Fighters Guild are a sophisticated mercenary service, often hired out as guards, escorts, and occasionally on more covert missions. In the Iliac Bay, the Fighters Guild is often essential for getting things done, leading to a decent variety of possible assignments for the player. Some quests involve killing creatures that have made their way into houses, killing giants or harpies in their halls, or protecting people against danger. Not to shock you here, but yes, every quest from the Fighters Guild requires fighting. This is also the only guild that has a non-random quest, the Lord Kavar quest series, which, may I add, is a good look into how non-random quests could have been implemented into Daggerfall. I'm not sure why there weren't more, maybe because they were too buggy, too difficult to implement, or simply because of time constraints, but this is a pretty damn good series of missions. However, in the vanilla game, it is unfortunately infamous for spawning a seemingly unending wave of assassins. Just another reason to check out the Unity version. The Fighters Guild operates out of guild halls in towns across the Iliac Bay region. These guild halls can be easily seen on the map from their distinctive square shape, and they normally tower over most townhouses, being 3 stories tall and of a basic medieval style construction. Fighters Guilds are ideal for a character that is specialising in combat and heavy armour. The guild trainer offers training in the skills seen on screen, and the guild offers free accommodation on its top level. Most medium-sized towns will have a Fighters Guild too, meaning that you're never far from your next assignment. The smith will also repair your armour and weapons for free, giving you another cost-saving benefit. Outside of the Lord Kavar quest, the quests can be a little dry and not inspired, but they are great for beginners, with the extermination quests being ideal for grinding your weapon skills against low-level bats and rats in town, without having to go into a deadly dungeon. The Mages Guild is a medium-sized multi-provincial organisation dedicated to the study and application of magicka. This guild is the official centre of magical study in Tamriel and has existed for at least 1,000 years, and is one of the few guilds that was even available in Arena. Applicants must show a minimum of magical ability before being granted admission, although the guild does offer limited services to non-members. Unlike with the College of Winterhold entry exam, here it is instead just a skill check, requiring level 20 in at least one magical skill. The Mages Guild offers many magical services. Members and non-members alike may purchase spells or have enchanted items identified for them. Depending on your rank, you may also receive training in the various schools of magic, use the library and read up on the lore, buy soul gems, purchase or create magical items and spells, summon Daedric princes, and use teleportation services to travel instantly across countries. This makes the Mages Guild the best guild to join when it comes to member-specific services. The quests for the Mages Guild are some of the most varied in the game too. They can involve simple quests such as casting a spell like Open on a chest or Sleep on a restless NPC, all the way to protecting the guild, fetching an item, or killing an evil mage. Many of the Mages Guild quests also have you help out or step on the toes of other factions, so tread carefully when it comes to reputations. The guild halls for the Mages Guild come in a variety of building shapes and interior designs, and while these can vary wildly from each other, they can generally be identified from their large blocky shapes on the map. In my opinion, this is the best guild, and you will be able to join even as a non-mage build, as you will likely want to spec into mysticism for the recall spell, something you'll be needing if you wish to ever reach the entrance of a dungeon again. The Thieves Guild is the official organisation of burglars, thugs, and prostitutes. Yeah, you heard that right. I mean, the lusty Argonian maid had to get its protagonist from somewhere. The Thieves Guild is functionally similar to any other guild, it's just that their particular industry is crime. In practically every borough, hamlet, and city-state in Daggerfall, the professional criminals have banded together for mutual protection. Like other guilds, they offer special benefits to members, such as bribing officials and judges, allowing you to escape jail if you're unlucky enough to get caught. The location of their headquarters in any town is always a secret, only being known to those that have already passed their initiation trial into the organisation. To join the Thieves Guild, the player must pick 10 or more pockets successfully, or they must break into a store using the lockpicking skill. Soon after your exploits, you will receive a letter briefing you on a trial you must pass to be let into the fold. Most of the quests for the Thieves Guild will, unsurprisingly, involve stealing an item, although you may sometimes be helping a guildmate or smuggling contraband. The main advantage for the Thieves Guild is that no quest uses a dungeon, allowing the player to rise through the ranks without risking death at the hand of any number of ghastly beasts. Following the nefarious route, and we have the Dark Brotherhood, the unofficial Assassin's Guild of Tamriel. The Dark Brotherhood is a mysterious organisation often hired to carry out assassinations. Its members have a reputation as maniacs and Daedra worshippers. This is not altogether false either. In fact, some describe the Brotherhood as a religious group of sorts, devoted to their patron, the Daedric Prince Mathala, and headed by a mysterious figure known only as the Night Mother. To join the Dark Brotherhood, you must kill at least 3 innocent citizens or 15 town guards, this being by far the most gruesome entry task. Beware that each country in the Iliac Bay has a reputation system of its own. If you become too well known as a ruthless killer due to, say, some not so stealthy assassinations, then you may eventually reach the point where you will be attacked on sight. The Dark Brotherhood's quests are usually standard assassinations, such as the execution of freelance assassins and their employers, or the execution of former members of the Brotherhood who failed their tasks. I'll say here that these 2 guilds in particular are maybe some of the most disappointing for the newer fans. Both guilds receive far more love and due diligence in the later games, and while it is cool to see some of the lore already present here, playing through these guilds is much more straightforward than the quests you will receive from the other factions. That doesn't make evil characters not fun to play, mind you, it just means that you'll have to rely more so on your own gameplay to make the stealing, killing and escaping a consistently enjoyable affair. Now for the most medieval faction group, Knightly Orders. These exist in all regions of the Iliac Bay. They are the legions of knights who do the bidding of their regional ruler. This is how the kings and queens access the warriors that fight their battles for them. Knights are the best trained and sport the shiniest gear, and they have some of the best benefits, including free stays at inns across the known world, which also means free travel, and when you reach the max rank, you are given access to a free player home. And let's not forget the 3 pieces of high level armor for each rank you progress. While you may only join 1 knightly order, they are effortless to join, as long as you pass a skill check. The rewards for performing quests for the order include increased reputation with the region's commoners and nobles, rather than any monetary payment. So while you won't get rich quick here, unlike those dirty Fighters Guild mercenaries, you will be renowned for being the noble knight that you are. In addition, you can improve your reputation with your order if you do quests for other knightly orders, meaning you aren't just locked to the region your order operates in. While the armor and free travel are great, unfortunately knightly orders offer little else outside of that. No crafting services and no special vendors nor training. In terms of quests, they are somewhat similar to the Fighters Guild, but there are a fair more rescue missions involved. For the pious among you, we have the Temples of the 8 Divines of Tamriel. Much like knightly orders, you may only join a single temple. I guess praising multiple divines wasn't quite in fashion yet. Temples provide benefits and services such as free healing, disease curing, skill training, and Daedra summoning. Like with the other guilds, some of these are locked behind the need to be a higher rank in the guild, but for the non-religious characters, you can still access the free disease curing even as a non-member. Also, some temples have exotic nude dancers. This of course makes them superior to all the other factions, case closed. Temple quests are a mix of fighting and talking. Sometimes you will be simply finding a character to ask them for a donation, and other times you will be on a mission to uncover and murder a raven heretic who threatens to dissuade your divine's message. So yeah, that's all the joinable guilds. Quite a few more role-playing options than in Skyrim. Look, I don't mean to keep comparing this game to that one, but it's hard not to, what with them being in the same franchise. I will say it's clear to see where the inspiration for Morrowind's multiple guilds came from, and it's a shame that so many options such as the religious factions have been lost in the goal of streamlining. It's no secret that many have been burned by just how simplistic and dry the Companions and College of Winterhold felt, and while Daggerfall is certainly no comparison when it comes to epic quests and storytelling, the ability to roleplay outside of a basic mage or a common warrior is welcome. We will be covering more quests in the next video, including vampire quests, Daedric quests, and taking an in-depth look into the crafting systems that Daggerfall offers. A bit of a shorter video this time around as I'll be travelling soon and didn't want to leave you guys high and dry without a video. Thank you again to everyone for the support that this series has seen. Subscribe to know exactly when that new video is uploaded, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.